everyone. Welcome to the Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy's YouTube channel, Holistic Spiritual Transformation. I'm your host, Dr. Beverly, and we're really happy to see you today. And what I'm going to talk about today is a new program that I have set up. And it is based initially on the Om for Success program. So we'll talk about that as well as this new program coming up and my new overall schedule that will begin next year. So I know many of you take my classes and are interested, and some of you have been waiting for this program. So let me do a share screen. Oh, great. They moved share screen. It used to be a big green button. There it is. Okay, share screen. Boom. Share. Wow, I hope this is working. Oh, it looks like it's working. Okay. So I call it WuShen. So WuXing, Xing, is Chinese for 5 element, and WuShen is Taoist, and Shen is spirit. So it's about the energies of the 5 elements. And this is about the Master Healer program. This QR code will take you to my app, and all of this is available in the app. And there is a web version of the app. So there's 3 parts to the program. The first is Om for Success. So many of you already know this. It's a free program. There is no dogma. There's no, I don't care what religion you have, what belief system you have, whatever you believe is fine. And it takes you through the basics to prepare you for this program. And it's based on things that I've been teaching for like 30 years. And I pull it all together. I give you resources, reading material. It's all free. There's no upsell. There's no take this class and then here's it, buy this now at this. Then there's none of that stuff in there. It's just a free program. Excuse me. And it has a 30-day intensive. Each class during the 30 days is 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes and some homework. And it teaches you the different styles of meditation and how to use them. And hold on a second. I'm going to quickly mute myself. Okay, sorry about that. I don't like to clear my throat all the time. So that's the Om for Success program, and it's a prerequisite for the Certified Master Healer program. Okay, so you have to do Om for Success first. It gives you the vocabulary and the understand. What are the 5 elements anyway? Well, if you're an acupuncturist like me, you know what they are. Or if you're Ayurvedic practitioner, or you've been around a while, or you were raised somewhere in Asia, because in Asia they all know what the 5 elements are. But it also teaches you different styles of meditation, when and how to use them. And a lot of people will go, well, I don't want to go home. Well, then don't do them. There are many other ways to meditate. Use what works for you. So that's what this program is about. And, what if well, I only like to walk. Well, what happens if you're in bed and you can't walk? What can you do? Did you know you can exercise in meditation and it's just as good as actually doing the exercise? Really? Yeah. Okay. So you learn all kinds of cool stuff, when and how to use it, what works best for you, what are the 5 elements. So that's in the 30 days. Then and you get 1 day at a time. So you'll do 1 day, just a couple minutes, you'll have some homework, and then the next day you come back, you'll get the next day's class. It's dripped out to you 1 day at a time. Then at the end of 30 days, you'll get a workshop. It's, I think, about 45 minutes. And the workshop is an overview of the 5 elements. And then you get a 6-day workshop. So each day, it used to be each week, and I just compressed it. I says, I'm going to give them to you 1 a day. But you may want to wait a week before you do the next one, because there's a lot of information in each of those workshops. Most of them are about an hour and a half at the most. And they're pretty intense, and they go through a lot of information very, very quickly. So you can do it quickly or you can do it slowly, but it prepares you for this program. But if you don't want to do this program, just enjoy the Om for Success. It's incredible. The feedback that I've been getting from it is incredible. It's awesome. People, it's life changing. Even people who have been meditating for years get a lot out of the class. So whether you've never meditated at all or you're a seasoned teaching meditation, you will still learn something. I promise you. So let's talk about the Certified Master Healer program. Now, you can go through this part because you want to learn the information, but you don't want to be certified as a master healer. That's fine. But to get certified, you also have to do the retreat. And you can only do the retreat if you've done these two. So you can only do this program if you've done Om for Success. And if you go into this program and you didn't do Om for Success, you're going to be lost because this teaches you the basics. Okay. And I'm going to assume you have this vocabulary. And I go through it over and over and over in that, 37 days. This is a 37-day program. And you're going to get the same information over and over and over. You're going to hear those 5 elements. I'm going to give you charts and graphs and all kinds of stuff. So if you don't have that when you get here, you don't have that basic foundation. Okay, so this is free. And this we're going to go through right now. So if you click here, it's going to take you to a web page on this same site that just says, here's an overview, and if you want to know more, go to the Om for Success website. So I didn't put everything here. It's on Om for Success. So if I go over here, oh, it's not showing me. Yes, it's here. Okay. I'm going to make sure it switched places. Okay, so if we come over here, oh, yeah, omforsuccess.com. And this is where you register. So right now it has the free, it doesn't have the live version. So I have a summit coming up, Healing Mastery Summit in September. And right after that summit, I will teach for Success live again. It's the last time I will teach it live after the September summit. In the future, it will only be taught live after the March summit. So I have a Holistic Transformation Summit in March, and then we will do the Om for Success. Let me go back over there. Back to home. So we'll do the March summit, then we'll do the Om for Success, then we'll have the Certified Master Healer program, then we'll have the retreat, and then we'll have the Healing Mastery Summit. And that will repeat each year. So only do each thing once a year. But I will do Om for Success again live after starting September, end of September. Okay, so what's in this certification program? So this is for anyone who wants to work on their own health, work on the health of their loved ones, their family, or if you're a professional, an acupuncturist, Ayurvedic, a coach, a doctor. I've had doctors and acupuncturists, all kinds of people go through the program. So if you're some kind of a professional, then you can go through the program as well. And I'm working on CEUs for you, so that you can have continuing education or PDRs or whatever they're called for MDs. Okay, so it's anyone who wants to use holistic health to heal themselves, to take care of themselves, to take care of their family and loved ones, or they want to incorporate this into their own program. And part of the program will teach you what words you can use, what you can't use to keep you legal so that you're not doing things that are going to get you in trouble. So if you said yes, you want to manifest the life you desire, you want to be healthy, then this program is for you. So if you want to heal yourself, your family, your friends, or you're a licensed professional and want to expand your healing skills, this program's for you. Who is it not for? It is not for those who do not want to do personal development work to improve or their own innate abilities. In other words, if you don't want to do the work, if you don't want to heal yourself first, you can't help anyone else until you help yourself. It sounds selfish, doesn't it? But it's like in the airline, they say put the mask on yourself first because you have 20 seconds and then you pass out. Put it on yourself first, then put it on the person next to you that needs help. That's what this is about. Healer, heal thyself. You have to work on yourself first. And when you heal that part of you, you will attract people who also need to heal that part of them. It's amazing how that works. Over the years, I'll work on something on myself, and then before you know it, I've got all these people coming in with the same problem. Oh, well, here's what you do. You recognize it, and then you heal the next thing. And all of a sudden, you have different people. And all of a sudden, you're going to be helping people with the same issue. And if you want to, so everything can be used for good or not so good. In other words, service to self or service to others. This is intended for people who want to be service to others, even though I said you're going to work on yourself first. But if you want to use this to hurt others, you're not welcome. If you want to use this to manipulate people, to use the information I teach to hurt them, then don't apply because I'll see through it and I'll turn you away. Okay, so what is the agenda of the program? So I think I just went over that. We have the Holistic Transformation Summit, then we're going to do the Own for Success. Then I'm teaching each class. It's a 2-day class. It'll be a Saturday, Sunday, once a month. So you can either, I'll have a discount if you buy all 3 classes at once, or you can just pay as you go. And that's why I broke them up once a month so that it's a little easier for you if you can't, I don't like people to charge up their credit cards. That way you can just budget it ahead of time, and I'm going to make them very, very affordable. And then in September, there will be a Sedona retreat. It may go into October, but the September-October time in Arizona is much cooler. It's a pretty nice time of year. And we'll get probably an Airbnb someplace near Sedona. Sedona is very expensive, so we may be in Cottonwood or Cornville, someplace near Sedona that you can get to Sedona in a few minutes. And if you want to do some Red Rock touring as part of your trip, you can. We're a couple hours from the Grand Canyon, so if you extend your stay, you may want to go up to see the Grand Canyon. Very spiritual up there. But that'll be the retreat, and I'll talk about the retreat separate. And then there will be a Healing Mastery Summit. And the difference between the Holistic Transformation Summit and the Healing Mastery Summit is graduates of the program who get certified will have the opportunity to speak at the Healing Mastery Summit and talk about either what you got from the class or how you're going to use the information in your practice or program or book you're writing or whatever it is you want to talk about. So all classes are live on Zoom with recorded replay later, but you cannot buy the evergreen, the replay classes only. You have to attend live. Okay. No exception. Okay, so you can do the replay if you bought the class, but you have to come live. You have to have your camera on if you want to get certified. If you buy the class and don't show up, or you have your camera off, fine, but you won't get certified. So it depends on why you're taking the class. I have to know that you're participating, you understand the material, and you're using the material to get the certification. It's kind of like when you go to school, you're expected to be there in class, and you're expected to do your homework and turn it in. I'm not going to make people turn it in, but I can tell if you've done your homework because you learned the skills, and I'm going to be teaching you skills. Okay, so we already talked about the Own for Success. So let's go through each class. So there's 3 classes, 2 days each. There's the overview class, the diagnosis class, and the treatment class. And we're going to talk about what that means. So class 1, the overview class, is self-care, heal thyself. And what are some of the tools you use, and how do you clean the tools? So before you start, you need to be able to prepare yourself, prepare your tools, get ready, whatever you're going to do. And we'll go through for Success and what you should have learned, just to make sure that you've got, and to remind you of some of the terms that we learned. And then we're going to talk about the chakras and the aura relationship. And you've got a lot of that in for Success, but we're going to go through it again because it's important to understand the relationship. Then you will also receive a 1-hour one-on-one coaching session with me, where you can go through what is it that you have questions about that you don't want to ask in class. It's too personal, or you just need some extra help, or what's my best process? What do I need to help you going through the program? Because I don't want anyone to not succeed. I want you all to succeed. So I'll do whatever I can to help you. So we'll be working with the chakras and aura and the bodies. So the chakras and the aura are now scientifically verifiable. In the past, you had to rely on someone with an open third eye because, oh, I see your chakra here and it's got this, or you've got a dark spot over here, or whatever. If you may not be visual, so you may not be able to do that. So we're going to learn other ways to do that, but you need to know that there is a science behind it, and they've actually measured these things. There's tools, and we'll go through the science. So there's a lot of science background. You're not going to have a PhD in science, or you're not going to have to understand physics or whatever, but you will understand the basics so that you understand that this isn't woo-woo. This is real scientific research, medical research that now shows that all of this exists. And we'll talk about that. We'll learn about body scanning, muscle testing, pendulums, and other tools that you can use, when to use them, why to use them, how to use them, when they work, when they don't work, how to double test. So sometimes I'll do a test and I'll say, that's not right. And so I'll use a different tool and I'll get another answer, and I'll go, okay, something's wrong. So I'll talk about what happens when you're not getting the right answers, what happens when you're getting mixed answers, and how to move beyond that. We're going to talk about the organs and the glands and the relationships to the chakras and the 5 elements. What's wrong with my... Okay, we'll try that again. There must be something on my table here that's causing my mouse to mess up. There we go. Okay. So it's not a physiology class, an anatomy class, but it is important to know what are the 5 elements, what are the 7 chakras, what organs and glands are associated with each. And you got a lot of it in for Success. This is a review. And of course, there's always exercises in class, and there will be homework. And I may add more to this first class, but the first time you do some of this, and some of these, they're just one-liners, but there's a lot in there. Okay. So at the end of class 1, you will have improved intuitive abilities. You'll know what the 5 clairs are, which one you have, how to develop your other ones. You will have more confidence in your intuitive abilities because you'll know how to test them. You will be able to answer typical questions people ask about credibility and intuitive healing because you'll have the basic science behind it. You will have additional tools and skills to add to your toolbox. You will be able to work remotely and feel confident you will get results. And this will carry forward. This will be improved with each of the classes, and especially the retreat. So this is something that you'll get with each class, and it will just get even stronger and stronger as you go forward with the program. And you will know how to manifest the life you want, the one you desire, what you really want. Do you want health? Do you want to be more intuitive? Do you want to be able to help others? Whatever it is that makes you happy. For me, seeing people out of pain, getting better, understanding what they need to do to stay healthy, that kind of makes me happy. Okay. And I enjoy teaching. So I'm sharing with you, how do you get yourself healthy and stay healthy? And how do you help your loved ones? Because none of us wants to see our loved ones in pain. Okay, intuitive healer diagnosis. Now, I'm using the word diagnosis here, and that's dangerous. You cannot do a Western diagnosis. So you're not taking this class so that you can go, oh, you've got diabetes. Oh, you've got this, you've got that. I'm an acupuncturist. I cannot even do a Western diagnosis. I can do Chinese diagnosis. I had a patient come in, said, I have restless leg syndrome. Oh, I've healed that. I've healed it in myself. I know that a lot. So I said, no problem. I can help you. Lay on the table. I put him on the table. I took one look at him and I said, you have Parkinson's. Now, I cannot diagnose Parkinson's. So I had to write a little note. I have a little notepad with my business and my name on it. And I said, please rule out Parkinson's. And I gave it, because I don't expect patients to remember anything. I said, give this piece of paper, go immediately to your doctor and give him this piece of paper. Because only a Western doctor can diagnose Parkinson's, not me. So that's a dangerous word, so be very careful. But how diagnosis means, how do you know what's wrong with the person? And you're going to be doing a holistic health diagnosis unless you are a professional. Like if you're an acupuncturist like me, you can do a Chinese diagnosis. If you're an MD or a nurse practitioner, then you can do a Western diagnosis. I don't know what regular nurses are. I know nurse practitioners can do what an MD can do in terms of diagnosis. And then you've got physician's assistants, you've got so many different people. So you can only do a Western diagnosis based on your license. And you have to have a license to do it. So when I say diagnosis here, that's not what we're talking about. That's why I don't call this the medical intuitive. I've taken medical intuitive classes to do medical intuition. If you're not an MD or you don't have a license to do a medical diagnosis, you have to work with someone who does. And you give them what you're seeing and they do the diagnosis. That's not this class. Because I don't want you to have to go find an MD to work with you. You might as well just go to the MD, right? I want you to be able to look in the mirror and know whether or not you're healthy. And if you're not healthy, where you need to pay attention. The same with your loved ones. And if you're a coach or you're already a professional, it will enhance your ability to do your own diagnosis. But the tools that I give you, the next one is treatments. And this is another trigger word. Be very careful with treatments because you're not doing medical treatments. We're going to be doing holistic health treatments. In most states in the United States anyway, it comes under the guise of spiritual healing. So it's a spiritual healing diagnosis and a spiritual healing treatment. And we go through the ethics and the legality and all of that stuff in the program. Okay, so in the second month's class, we'll go through anatomy and physiology basics. So this is not an anatomy and physiology class, but you need to know what are the organs, what's their function. In class 1, we talked about the organs and the glands and how they are related to the chakras. Now we're going to talk about more of their function and how that plays in with the 5 elements. And we alluded to that in the Om for Success program. We talked about it all in there. So this is just a little deeper dive into that. You need to know what's the name of the major bones, the femur, where's the femur, what's a tibia, what's a ulna and a radius, some of the bigger bones, you should know the names. For those of you who are already licensed, think of it as review. And for those of you that are new, if someone comes to you and they say, I have a tummy ache, and they invariably point at the lower abdomen, and that's not your stomach. The stomach is right under the ribs. So people will come and say, I have a stomach ache, and they're not pointing at their stomach, or they say, I have a stomach ache, and they're pointing over on the right. It's not their stomach. If they're pointing over on the right, that's their liver. And if they're lower abdomen, it's their gut, it's their intestines. So it helps you when you're doing your understanding of what they're actually complaining about. Then we'll talk about astrology. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to be an astrologer, but I am going to go through what I call the three bigs: the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. To know those three bigs, you need the date, place, and time of birth. Date, place, and time of birth. And then you will know their sun sign, their moon sign, and their ascendant. And knowing the three bigs and the five elements, you now know what are their main elements. And that's what you're going to learn how to do. It's free online. I'm just going to show you how to use an online tool so you can get the three bigs right away for yourself, your family, your friends, or if you're a practitioner, for them. I started learning astrology decades ago, back in the 90s. And I have a friend that knows astrology, and she taught me a great deal about, I don't know, 20 years ago. I'm in a certification program and I've read a lot of books. But I now have professional astrological software that I use. But I'm going to teach you how to use the free stuff, which is out on the internet. It's easy to use. You can get the three bigs, and it will really, really help you to understand where and when people break. And then once you know what breaks first, you know the underlying cause. And we'll get into more of that in class 3. Then we'll go through the 7 rays and the imbalances based on esoteric astrology. So there's sidereal astrology, tropical astrology, Chinese astrology, esoteric astrology. There's many different kinds of astrologies. And I'm going to pull them all together. So all you'll need to understand is tropical astrology or Western astrology, whole house signs. If you know anything, you know what I just said. If you don't know, you'll learn it in the class. It's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. And you'll be able to just learn those 3 things and how they apply to health and when you need to pay attention. Then we'll go through crystals for healing the chakras. Now, a lot of tools like essential oils, crystals, herbs, they take literally years to learn. When I studied herbs at PIMA for my acupuncture license, they said when you graduate, it takes 2 years just to be good at using formulas. Then it takes another 8 years to learn how to combine formulas successfully. And after 10 years, then you might be good at making your own compounds. In other words, taking the raw herbs, putting them together to create your own formulas. That's how long, if you're well trained, and it takes a couple of years worth of training in acupuncture school to learn herbs. Just the herbs part takes another couple of years to learn acupuncture. So crystals are the same way. I started studying crystals in 1970, okay? I know I'm old. That's over 50 years working with crystals. But I'm only going to focus on working with crystals and the chakras. If you want to know more, I'm going to tell you as part of the class what are the really awesome books you can use to immediately look something up. And I have an app on my phone that'll tell me what the crystal is. So I said, oh, I've got this crystal. What is it? What do I do with it? I've got oracle cards for crystals. There's so many things you can do if you want to dive deeper into crystals. But in this program, I'm just going to focus on crystals and the chakras. If you can learn that, it's got you started. And if that's all you want to do, that's fine. If you want to learn more, then it's, that's a long journey you'll be on to learn more about crystals. We're going to talk about dream importance and interpretation. Now, there's a lot of books out that say, oh, this symbol means this symbol means that. And I'm going to tell you to throw the books away because the symbolism depends on the person. So we're going to talk about dream journals and how to interpret them and how to help other people understand their dreams. But you have to start with yourself. and you have to learn how to remember your dreams. That means you have to meditate. That means you need to do them for success. And if you're not remembering your dreams yet, go back and do them for success again. You missed something. Because by the end of them for success, you should be able to start having lucid dreams and remember them. And interpreting your dreams are so important. I have had so many dreams where I was either warned not to do something, warned to take a different direction, trained, taught things, been told, hey, you've been saying this, you need to not say that anymore, and here's why. Um, all kinds of unbelievable, wonderful stuff comes through dreams, as well as in meditations, but you'll get it in your sleep as well when you become a lucid dreamer. And then in every class, of course, I give you exercises and homework because the only way to remember this and be good at it is to do it. So I'll give you lots of, now it's time to do it. So at the end of this class, you will have a basic understanding of the body and the location of important structures like organs and large bones. You will be able to cast a Western astrology chart to identify the three bigs. It's not the whole astrology. That can take you decades to learn astrology. We're just going to do the three bigs to identify the major elements affecting this person or yourself. You will be able to see the current transits for the three bigs. Really easy. It gives it to you. It's free. You will understand the three doshas of Ayurvedic astrology, Vata, Kapha, Pitta, and how they relate to the five elements. Each of those has two elements. You go, well, there's five. That you just said six. Yeah. Vata is air and ether, or in Chinese medicine, we call it metal and wood. Pitta is fire and water, and earth and earth. Kapha is earth and water. So Pitta and Kapha both have the element of water. So that's how they do six things for three elements when you only have five. Okay, you will be able to look at Chinese astrology to better understand the five elements and help changes over time. Now, the challenge with Chinese medicine is they name the five elements. And in Western astrology, they don't really emphasize the elements quite as much. And in Chinese medicine, they call them like the dog, the rat, the dragon, the different animals. So what I'm going to do is show you the Chinese, how to run a Chinese astrology chart. Then I will give you charts so you can translate it back into Western astrology. Because with Chinese astrology, they look at your health over time. They're really good at that. And it's really easy because it just, you do the running and it says, oh, you're this age, this is the problem, boom. And it makes it really easy to figure out what's going on with that person over time. So you don't have to go and learn a lot of if you learn astrology and you get really good with it and you have professional astrology tools, it will show you. But I don't, if you already know astrology, fine, you can do that. And if you want to buy professional tools, fine. But I would try to do everything for free as much as possible. So you don't have to go and pay for more stuff. So you can do a five element, you can do a tropical, you're going to have the charts that say, oh, this was the dog, therefore it's here, this was the dragon, this where it's here, it's this age. Now you have all that information really quick, and you can figure it out for yourself, your loved ones, and if you're a practitioner, your people will be, wow, that's amazing. How did you know that? I just had a client recently that came in and she says, I have this problem. I ran her astrology. It was right there in the astrology that she would have that problem. It's so easy. It's like, oh yeah, it says right there, the exact same organ she was having a problem with is in her astrology. So when you run into things like that, you know that this is past life, this is karmic. So if you just treat people with medicine, are they going to get well? Maybe temporarily, but it's going to come back. You have to treat the karma, the underlying cause. So those are some of the things that you're going to learn. You will have a working knowledge of the best crystals to use for each of the chakras. And a lot of times you'll get a chart and it says, oh, for this chakra, use this. If you don't have that one, what if you have this other one over here? Can you use this instead? Probably. Depends on the color. So you're going to learn a lot about the different crystals you can use for each chakra and when, because sometimes the crystal that you associate with a chakra is not the one you want to use. And we'll talk about that under treatments. You will understand dream interpretation and the importance of dream journals. And if you went through Home for Success, you should have already been taught this, but we're going to go a little deeper into it. And we're going to talk about color and light therapy, and we're going to talk about sound and frequency therapy. And again, you got some of particularly sound therapy you got in the Home for Success program, but we're going to dive deeper into that, the solfeggio frequencies, and you should have gotten a free little book that I wrote, ebook. I call it an ebook. It's just a couple pages. What do you call that when it's a PDF of a couple of pages on the history of solfeggio frequencies, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this and maybe do some tuning fork work. And then class number 3 is what I call treatments. In other words, you've identified a problem. How do you fix the problem? And I'm just calling it treatment, but be very careful. It's a trigger word and can get you in trouble if you can't we're not learning Western treatments, okay? We're not learning Western diagnosis. This is not medicine. People may need medicine. You may actually need to refer someone to their medical professional or an acupuncturist or a naturopathic doctor or a chiropractor or whatever. So we're talking about how to do spiritual healing and spiritual treatments. So we're going to work with spiritual healers. You learned this in Home for Success. Everybody should have gotten a spirit teacher and a power animal in that program. And if you didn't, take it live, because I make sure everybody has one. And if you don't, I help you get one. Understand the power of prayer. Prayer is very powerful. I don't care what kind of prayer you use. You just have to use it with intention. So we're going to talk about the power of prayer. Understand rituals and sigils. And some rituals you may think, oh, wait, Satanists do rituals. Yeah, you could do rituals for negative things. Remember, I said in the beginning, this is not for people that want to harm. This is only for people who want to help others. So you can use rituals to heal and to help people. One of the first things we learned in our shamanic training was how to retrieve a ritual that a person needs for whatever they're doing. And sometimes I would do a journey. What's a ritual this person needs to do for this part of their life or this event or whatever it is they're going to do? They want to heal something. What's a ritual? And it usually involves some kind of meditation or going and doing an offering. Like I sometimes do offerings to trees. I will take them water and some cornmeal or some tobacco, and I'll leave it on the ground and put the water in, and then I'll talk to the tree and set my intention and ask for help. And trees can talk. Oh, really? Yeah. You can listen to the tree and you can get answers. Or the tree may call in some of its spirits and they will give you the answer, or they will help prepare you, or whatever it was. So that's how to use rituals. And we'll talk about essential oils as they relate to the chakras. Now, I have a separate essential oil program. So if you're interested in essential oils, I would say take that class. The first class is the one you pay for. And it goes in depth on what's a carrier oil, what's an essential oil, how to blend them. I have a special form I created that's not anywhere because nobody teaches you. Some of the things I've pulled together, you have to really dive deep and read a lot of books, and there's no one that gives you all the information that I pulled together. Even in the certification programs I've had, they didn't have this information. It's more about how to pick an essential oil, how to, in some cases, it was here's some formulas to use. And there's a bunch of follow-on classes that I created with recipes. They're DIY. And I've categorized them by topic, like holistic health, spiritual development, skin care, hair care, working with animals. So I divided it up by topic. And those classes are all free. So once you take the initial essential oils class, you get all the other classes for free. And they just dive into DIY projects. How do I make a candle? How do I make lip balm? How do I do blah, blah, blah? How do I make my own floor cleaner? How do I make laundry cleaner? How do I do my own dish soap? How do I do facial creams? How do I do hair or whatever? I have my, where is it? Um, some of you have taken my classes. You've seen me use this little spray bottle because in the winter time in Arizona, my hair just flies all over the place. And I'll have to spritz my hair so that it's not flying all over my face while I'm talking, because then I'm going like this all the time because I've got all this hair. So I spritz my hair in the wintertime so I don't have flyaway hair. So I teach you how to make these little tools that are non-toxic. So this is mostly water, it's distilled water, and a couple of essential oils. And I show you how to oil and water doesn't mix. You may have noticed that. So I show you what to add to it so that that does mix. And I show you how to add a preservative so that it lasts more than 2 weeks. Otherwise, the essential oils can go bad on you. But this particular part of the program only focuses on what essential oils do you use to heal each chakra, and it will include some acupressure points. You know, put the oil here and massage it in, and that'll be in that class, that part of the class. But if you want to, you go, wow, I want to know a lot more about essential oils, then you can go into my essential oil program. And again, you only buy the first class and all the rest are free. Right now, I think there's 6 classes, but eventually I have 12 or 13 planned. So I have to finish up the rest of them. And I have a book that's almost ready to be published. I have the cover sheet. I need to add 2 more chapters, rewrite another chapter, and then get it edited and then published. And so you'll have a workbook that goes with that class. And I'm working on a book to go with this class. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so the next part of this is the power of fasting supplements for detoxing. Now, there's a lot of misinformation and misperceptions about fasting, and you may go, oh, I can't fast. For years I couldn't fast, and then I found out why, and I fixed the problem, and now I can fast. And there are fasting that is not very healthy, and there's fasting that is very healthy, and you'll learn what that is. We'll talk about supplements for detoxing. Now, I'm sure you've heard about food detoxing. You can go out on the internet and say, I want to detox, and you'll find thousands of sites that'll give you information. This will not be a class where now you can prescribe supplements. This is going to help you know what are some of the basic things you can use for detoxing. You cannot prescribe them for other people unless it's within your license. In other words, you went to acupuncture school, you went to naturopathic medical school. MDs, some prescribe, some don't, depends on their training. Old school MDs got 0 training in nutrition. Some of them prescribe things and they prescribe synthetic. So we'll talk about what kind of supplements, if you're going to buy them, do you want to get or not get? And where can you buy high quality supplements at a discount? I have a site for you for that. Then we'll talk about spiritual, I can't read that. Oh, spiritual initiations and the effect on health. So there's 7 initiations. In the past, I only ever taught the first 4 because I didn't feel anyone was ready for the last 3. Yeah, there's 7 altogether, 1 for each chakra. So I only taught up through the heart chakra. So each one is related to a chakra. We talk about that, Known for Success. And because most people today are still working on initiation number one, which you're supposed to learn as a child. Most people today, it's discernment. Do people today have good discernment? People today have terrible discernment. They're addicted to all kinds of stuff, their phones, their TV shows, their whatever's, drugs, their beer on Sunday, watching some football game or whatever sports on TV with their potato chips or whatever they eat. Um, they're still over here. And I thought, well, until people will do this, I don't even want to teach all seven. But guess what? Over the next 2 years, 25 and 26, starting August 19th of this year, massive changes coming, spiritual changes. Okay, a lot of the astrologers, hold on a second. A lot of the astrologers out there, they're projecting, what is it, doom and gloom. I almost said room and groom. A little dyslexia going on there. Doom and gloom. I don't believe that. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be, oh, will there be some chaos? Oh, there always is with change. You're always going to go through a period of chaos. Will there be some chaos? Yeah, don't worry about it. Because this is going to be a massive evolution of humanity. You just have to go through it. Okay. So hang in there, hold on to your hat, enjoy the ride, have lots of popcorn on hand. Actually, you want beans and rice to get through it, but that's okay. So we're going to go through all 7 initiations and how they affect your health. Really, your health? Yeah, how they affect your health. Then we're going to touch on Bach flower essences for emotional healing. They're primarily for emotional healing. The naturopathic certification program I went through said 80% of all illnesses are emotionally based. I disagree. I think it's 100%. Who said, well, I had an accident. Well, why did you have an accident? Were you not paying attention? Were you distracted? What was going on? There's always an emotional aspect to everything that happens to you. And what causes those emotional aspects? Thinking. You need that heart-brain connection, and you need the belly-brain heart connection. You have 3 brains. We talk about that Known for Success. That's your baseline. We're going to dive a lot deeper. Now, with Bach flower essences, I went through their certification program. I don't use Bach flower essence that way. And I'm going to teach you a really simple, easy way. You don't even have to go through a certification, and you can use the Bach flower essences for emotional healing. Then we're going to talk about legal issues and ethics for holistic healing. And I kind of alluded to it tonight, talking about you cannot say you're doing a Western diagnosis. You have to work with a Western medical professional for that. You cannot do Western therapies for treatment. You're going, maybe I should call this intuitive healer holistic therapies. I'm going to change the name. That's a good idea. I'm going to call those holistic therapies and holistic spiritual diagnosis. That way it's more clear. So you don't mistake this for Western. And I've taken, like I said, Western medical intuitive classes, and you cannot do it without working with an MD, unless you're an MD or a nurse practitioner or you have the appropriate license. So I don't want to do that. I want you to be able to work and heal on yourself. Well, although there may be times when you go, you know what, I just broke my ankle. I broke my ankle in 2020, in March of 2020. Believe it, in the middle of all that crap, I broke my ankle. And I went to I had 4 days in the hospital, 21 days in rehab. Went to the doctor, orthopedic surgeon. He said, you'll be in a wheelchair until November. Okay, this is March. And I went, no, I won't. I was out of the wheelchair in June. Okay. I was doing wheelies in my wheelchair. I was having fun in the wheelchair. I don't ever want to do that again. But he took the cast. I had this heavy duty cast on, and he was going to put another cast, a walking cast. So the cast I had on was non-load bearing cast. He was going to take that off and put a load bearing cast, a walking cast, he called it. And he took it off and he says, I don't understand. This is completely healed. I says, I know. He said, well, okay. Well, you can drive now and you don't need a wheelchair, but I still needed physical therapy because when you're in a wheelchair for several months and you can't even go to the bathroom without using special tools, and I won't go into it, but when you're in a wheelchair and you cannot stand or walk, you can't take a shower. Boy, you should have seen me take my first shower after a couple of months. you know, it takes time to get your body back. But I did that and I reopened my healing center in July. So it only took me till June to get out of a wheelchair, and then I was walking and could drive again because it was my right leg. I couldn't even drive. So I was stuck at home, couldn't drive, couldn't walk, couldn't stand. Luckily, I had friends coming over and cooking for me and taking care of me. So sometimes you need Western medicine. I had to have surgery. I needed physical therapy. Okay. So I'm not saying you'll never need Western medicine, especially emergency medicine. Western medicine's really good at emergency medicine. It will save your life. But there are things that you can do before, during, and after to heal faster. Like I healed so fast, they didn't know what to do. The whole time I was in rehab, they kept saying, "Do you need a painkiller?" No, I have. You may have heard of scalar energy. So I have this device with these little hand grips that uses scalar energy. And I couldn't use my herbs or homeopathy while I was in rehab because the Western medicine doctors, you can't do that. But I got permission to use my I told them it was a TENS device. It's under it's FDA approved device as a type of TENS device, but it does a lot more than that. And I used that on myself. And I didn't need any painkillers. Okay. So there are things that you can do, even if you need some Western medicine, to heal faster, get over your surgeries faster, get out of pain without the pain meds. I use herbs and homeopathy and all kinds of, I use light healing on my animals, my dog. So you can, whatever you do on humans, you can do that with the animals. So we're going to talk about what are the legal limitations and ethics of what you can and can't do, what words you can and can't use, so that you don't get in trouble. If you live in the United States, use the wrong words. And I've had people follow me and say, "Oh, I'm going to go out," and they started telling people, "I'm going to diagnose this and I'm going to heal you." And they started using some equipment they had and started treating people. That is a felony. I do not want you to get in trouble. So you need to know what you can do, what you cannot do, what you can say, what you cannot say, and when to refer people. It's very, very important. I don't want anyone getting in trouble. We're going to talk about guided meditation. I've been doing hypnotherapy since I think like 1990, 91. It's incredible, but it's not the same as doing a guided meditation. When I studied at UMS, and they said you have to do certain guided meditations and record them and send them in, and I did them and sent them in, and they rejected it. You did it wrong. That's not hypnosis. This is how you do guided meditation. So we're going to learn about how to do guided meditation, which is not the same as hypnotherapy. So I've been doing regression therapy and all kinds of stuff for decades, and it's not the same. You're putting the person in the same state, and I'm going to tell you the trick and how to get people into that state. And it only takes seconds if you're a meditator, which you will get if you took Home for Success. So you will be able to do this really quick to help yourself. You can do a guided meditation for yourself, for your family, your loved ones, or if you're a professional, you can do it as part of your coaching or whatever you do in your profession. And obviously, as usual, there will be class exercises and homework. So at the end of class 3, you will be able to work with your spirit helpers. And I created a spirit helper for every tool I use. Yes, you manifest them by your own intention. I need a spirit helper to help me with acupuncture. So when I'm needling, I've been told, don't put the needle there, put it over here. But that's not on the chart. That's not a point. Put the needle over there. And the patient goes, "Oh my God, what did you do?" I said, well, I just put a needle in. All the pain went away. I've had that happen so many times, either with a needle or I have another angel that works with me with color puncture because sometimes they'll shine a light and they'll go, oh my God, the pain just went away. I have another one for my sound healing. I have them for crystals. I use the crystal kahuna for my crystals. So I manifest a spirit helper for every tool I use. And I tune into them and I ask them to help me. And then I go into my state and I'm in a meditative state when I do my work. So you're going to learn how to do that. You will understand the metaphysics of prayer. You will be able to create rituals and altars to enhance the healing process. You will have a basic understanding of essential oils for each chakra. Remember, this class is only going to talk about chakras. If you want to know more, you have to do the essential oil program, which is about 6 classes. Eventually, it'll be about 12 or 13. You will know the basic testing and the supplements for detoxing the body. I spelled detoxing wrong. Sorry about that. So you will know the basic of fasting and the supplements for detoxing the body. You will have a basic understanding of the Bach flower essences and how you can use those, especially if you're in person with a person. And you don't even have to have the Bach flower. I have helped people. I didn't even have the essence with me at the time. And I was able to use that essence to help the person heal. They felt the energy shift. So it's amazing what you can do. You don't actually have to have the object. You can have the energy of the object. So you're going to learn all of that. You'll be able to use and create guided meditations for healing. You will understand the 7 spiritual initiations and their effect on each chakra. And you will have a blueprint of ethics for working with other people in a healing capacity. And there's so much more. I can't even remember everything. So let's go back home and we'll talk about the retreat. Now, again, the retreat is live in the Arizona Sedona area. You have to go through Om for Success and the Master Certified Healer, and you have to go through it live. And then you can be eligible for the retreat. And the retreat is going to be very small. It's going to be, 6 to 10 people. That's it. Because there's too much one-on-one hand-holding in the retreat. So it's going to just be a small group. I'm going to get a small, like an Airbnb, or there's some other retreat centers. Some of the ones I looked at were like $700 a day per person. It's like, that's just way too expensive. So I'll find something affordable in the area, depending on how many register. Again, it'll be 6 to 10 because you're going to get a lot of one-on-one attention. And you have to be there live to get the certification. And you have to do this live with your camera on to do this. And I take roll. Okay. So I will know if you did it or not. So let's go to the retreat page. Okay. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. People who do anything, no matter how absurd, how it's spelled wrong, sorry, in order to avoid facing their own soul. One does not become enlightened by imaging figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. In other words, you have to do the work. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to be enlightened. I'm a pillar of light. No, there's a lot more to that. You have to face and embrace the dark. You have to understand the importance of the dark and how to light it up. And we go into that pretty heavily in the 3 workshops. It's kind of woven throughout the whole program, but we dive a lot deeper here. We will start with a power circle and a ritual to open. And then we're going to do regressions for personal understanding and development. I have been doing these regressions for like 30 years. They are powerful. People come out of it and they go, oh my God, I had no idea. The results of this part, and this is healing yourself. This is what is your past karma that you brought in. What are the really deep issues that you need to heal that you may not even be aware of? I remember my past lives. And when you start remembering, it's like, oh my God, I did the same damn thing. Yeah, life after life after life. And you do until you finally figure it out and heal it. And I was blessed in that I have met people in this life, in that first trigger one, who were there, who appreciated what I did. And all of this time I felt guilty and I carried that guilt forward, 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 forward. And here, the people who were involved were glad. So it was unnecessary. So when you start getting things into that perspective, you start forgiving yourself, you start healing these deep-seated issues because those issues affect your frequency, your vibration. And when you heal them, you will be ready to finally go to a higher level. We call it ascension, the rainbow body, diamond body. There's many names. We'll go into it in the previous program. We talk about it in Own for Success, but we'll dive deeper into that in the 3 workshops that we do, the 2-day workshops. But this is where we're going to do some of the personal deep dive healing right up the bat, because you have to heal yourself first. You have to heal yourself first. So we're going to start with that. We're going to do the deep, deep healing. Who were you in the past? Why did you incarnate with your current parents? Believe me, you chose your parents. A lot of people go, I would never choose my parents. You chose your parents. You may or may not have chosen all your siblings, depending on how big your family is, but there's at least one that you chose. Okay, it's probably the one you don't get along with. There's a reason why you're there. Who are the relationships you've had? It's all past karma. You're not meeting new people in this life. You're meeting people you knew before. So we're going to go and heal that. We're going to dive deep into that. Who are you in the past? Who are you now? What are you working on now? And who will you be in the future? Where are you going? What is your intention? And it's not your conscious attention. It's your soul attention. Your soul knows everything. It just didn't let you remember it all. Okay, you're going to learn mind reading. And this is not for the intention of manipulating and using others. This is for understanding and communication. And when you know how to do this, you can use it to communicate with animals, with trees, with rocks, with crystals, with everything. The universe is mind. Study the Hermetic principles. The universe is mind. So when you develop your mind, you develop it through meditation. And you do the heart-mind connection and the belly-brain connection, and now you are massively intuitive. And there's different ways of reading mind depending on your clair, the 5 clairs. We'll talk about oracle and tarot cards. To me, these are, I'll call them a crutch. Do you need them? Well, I have my cards. I have cards all over the house. Do I sometimes use them? Absolutely. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm upset about something. What do I need to know? And when you're like that, it's really hard to get the information. So what I do is I just had a brain fart. I'll draw a card and the card will always give me what I need to know. And sometimes I'll say, well, I'll draw a card from a different deck and the other deck will give me the same information. It's like, oh, really? You just said that over there. So that's how I use Oracle and tarot cards. But when you're working with someone else, sometimes you clear the cards. We'll show you how to clear the cards and get them ready, and you shuffle them, and you go, give me a card, and it gives you a card for the other person, and then you have to look at the symbols and understand them. So we're going to get a high level of how to do that, how to tune into your helpers so that you get the answer that you need in the moment. So those are very powerful. And we're going to do, each of you will get your own personal astrology reading. So, like I said, I have professional astrology software, and I'm in training right now to do professional readings for others. So I'm going to show you what are your three bigs, what are your seven rays, what's in your chart that you need to work on. And I was really blessed because the last time I taught the Om for Success program, the people in the classes, I'm learning how to use this software. Can I do charts for you guys? They won't be readings, they'll just do charts. And they said yes. So I was able to do a whole bunch of charts so I could learn how to use the software. And so now I'm going to town doing all kinds of stuff with the software. So you will get your own personal astrology reading. Um, you will learn about dowsing rods. I tried to teach dowsing rods online. You really have to do it in person because there's just so much you can do. Um, in the class, we'll do the pendulum. In the 3 2-day workshops, one of, I think it was class 2, does the pendulums. But in this class, we'll do the dowsing rods, and you'll learn all kinds of cool tricks with dowsing rods and the energy work and some of the gotchas, and practice how to do remote energy work, because all your energy work should be remote. Energy empowerments and healing. So you're going to get empowerments for all the way through Reiki Master, Usui Reiki, Tibetan Reiki, Green Goddess Reiki, which everybody that I've given it to says that's much more powerful than Usui Reiki. And it is, it's very powerful. You'll get crystalline or divine source light empowerment. You don't need that. Anyone can bring it in, but I give you an empowerment so you can bring it in faster and clear any blockages you have to using those energies. Um, Working with excess versus deficiency. So these are Chinese terms, excess and deficiency. So an excess is like pain, and a deficiency would be like someone who's anemic or tired or depleted. But you can have an excess with a deficiency. So if you're treating the excess, you could damage the deficiency. And if you treat the deficiency with the excess, you can make them even more depleted. So you need to know how to work with this. And that applies to when you're using crystals, with you using light or sound. You need to understand this. And with excess, with deficiency, how to apply the right color therapies. Um, and I've been doing this for like over 30 years, applying this information. So you're going to learn how to do that and practice it. We're going to practice body, chakra, and aura scanning. So you're going to learn that you may not see the chakras, but you can, depending on your clair, you can develop that clair. And once you develop it, let's say you're clairaudient and you hear this certain frequency and you go, oh, that's the color red. And then you look at the body and you try to use your third eye and say, where's the color red? Oh, I see it. It's right there. So you can learn to develop your other clairs. And when you develop them enough, eventually you become what's called claircognizant, which is what I am. You don't even have to, I don't have to look. You just ask me a question and I know the answer. If you study human design, I'm what's called a splenic projector. And we just know. People go, how can you possibly know that? Well, don't ask me. I just know. Um, because obviously in the past I developed those other clairs. So that's where you can end up. Once you develop all your clairs, you become claircognizant. And you don't even have to say, well, we need to go in a dimly lit room, and I need you to stand against the white wall. And then, oh, now I see the aura, you know. Um, so there'll be additional detoxification exercises. There will be psychic surgery. That's where you learn how to extend your auric field and go in and pull out any dark energies or whatever. You're going to learn how to, and we'll close with a power circle and a ritual closing. And as I'm talking, I'm going, oh, there's a bunch of other things that are missing from this. This is just the tip of the iceberg, trust me. So that's the retreat. So when you're through with all of this, let me get back to the home. So it's the three steps. And if you go to omforsuccess.com, it's free. And there's a web version. Well, it's the same version whether you're on the app or the web, but I have a web version of the app. And you can just go through the whole program at your own pace. Or if you register for the summit in September, which is coming up September 21st, I think, September 21st. If you're register for that class, you can do the for Success live for free. And then you could do this. This will not be free. This will be have a cost. I'm still working on the cost, but it won't be super expensive because I know people don't have a lot of money right now, and I don't want you charging up your credit cards crazy like. So I'm going to make it affordable for people. And like I said, you can do 1 month at a time. And if you can only do 1 month this year and then 1 month next year and 1 month the next after, things may be very different in 3 years. So I would suggest start saving your money now because we really only have a couple years left before things are going to change so much that we'll probably be redoing all of this. But I've been told to do this right now. And then the WuShen retreat in Sedona. Okay, so that's the whole program. Hopefully you got something out of just listening to this talk because I gave you a few little noogies here and there. And thank you for joining us. And what helps the channel a lot is if you hit subscribe and hit the like button, because then more people find the channel and then they can tune into it. And that helps us greatly. This channel is not monetized. I don't get any money. I don't do any selling. So any help you can give us is greatly appreciated. And I thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you at the summit, and hopefully you'll take the live Om for Success. It's on it's a daily, it'll start the Monday after the summit to this, that's like the 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So you can block your calendar now if you want to take it live. And if you miss a day of Om for Success, it is in the app. So you can sign up for the app at the same time you sign up for the live. And that way you can make up or replay instantly. You have to give me a day to edit it and upload it. So if you check it the same day, you'll get the previous lesson. And every time I teach something, I add more to it. So you always want to take the latest version because it'll have more in it. Because I keep thinking of more things to add in. So thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you. I thank you so much. Much love and blessings. And remember to be the light you want to see in the world.